Hello again, everyone. Good morning. We're moving on to fractions, okay? Some of those definitions, you guys had to go back and read that chapter. Remember, to find the workbook, you're going to go to Canvas and then Files tab. Okay, I put it in Student View and I found it. If you cannot find it, email me. And I will help you. Now let's talk about this. This is what we're doing today. So if you couldn't do it, or if you at least tried, look up here. A lot of different ways to do this, but what I suggest is putting a 1 underneath here. So making it a fraction. Your least common denominator is 5. 1 goes into 5, and 5 goes into itself. So you want to multiply this fraction by 5 over 5. So that gives you 10 over 5 minus 3 over 5. Here you have the same denominator, so you can go 10 minus 3 is 7 over 5. Now, since the top number is bigger, it's called improper. So for this one, you want to go ahead and divide 5 into 7. Because 1 times 5 is 5. Your remainder is 2. So put 1 and 2 over 5. This is called a mixed number. If you want to change it back, you go 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7, 7 over 5. Okay, before I go too much further, you want to copy this down. Okay, your homeroom stuff that you do online, and this is where you get the forms. So copy this down. If you want to come up here and take a picture of it, you can. Actually, it's on video, so just go to the video and find it. And then email this lady all your homeroom forms. Okay, so I don't want them. Don't email them to me. The only one I want back is that yellow one. Now remember, if these forms are not done by September 1st, you are subject to a detention. Okay, and she'll give me a list of who that might be. So try to stay out of that. Get on here on the video and email this lady. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is division. When you divide, you got to flip it. So it's going to be 2 over 1, and then you're going to flip the second. Okay, so you're going to go times 5 over 3. And now you multiply straight across. Okay, you got to flip it first when it's division. So it's 2 times 5 is 10, 1 times 3 is 3. You can leave it as an improper fraction as long as it's reduced. 3 goes into 10 3 times. That's 9, 1 left over. So it's 3 and 1/3. If you want to change it back, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Either answer. Okay? And I'll specify if I want it away. This is subtraction. Now, probably the easiest way, I mean, there are a lot of ways, but change it to an improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. It may not be the best way. 20 plus 1 is 21 over 5. Multiply these two numbers and get 10. 10 is your least common denominator. If it's not the least common denominator, you can always reduce it. So you're trying to make this 2 a 10. So you want to multiply by 5 because 5 times 2 is 10. So you get 25 over 10 minus this one, 2 times 5 gives you 10. So that's going to be 42 over 10. Get your calculators out. If you don't have one, you want to get one. The Casio FX 260 Solar is the one we use. All right, so that's a good one. You might be familiar with that one. All right, this is a plus. This is a minus. You have more minuses. So on my calculator, I'm going to go ahead and figure this dude out. So I take my calculator, I take 42, I put a negative in front of it, and then I do plus 25. And when I do that, I get a negative 17 over 10. I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. Let's go on. Raise your hand if you have a question. Now 16 is being divided by 3. So you put 16 and you divide it by 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Remember, I want you to learn your times tables, okay? So if you haven't done that, maybe next week I'll give you a little pop quiz on that, okay? Because I do expect that. All right, let's get off the bell work. Let's see what I have for you today. So put away your bell work. Remember, at the end of the marking period, I'm going to pick up all your stuff. Okay, so copy down what you see here. This is on page 14. 1.2. Put a name, date, and period. Copy everything you see. Well, let's talk about this a minute. Prime factorization. Okay, you always want to divide by 2s, 3s, 5s, and 7s, and maybe some other numbers. So you get your calculator and you take 210 divided by 2. Well, you might know that. So 210 divided by 2 equals, I get 105. And then you try 2 again. Well, 2 is not going to work, so you try 3. So divide it by 3. And I get 35. So I get 3 times 35. And then you try 5. So divide it by 5. We know that is 7. So it's going to be 5 times 7. I want you to do it in this order so that your tree opens up this way. This is called prime factorization. Make sure you know that. Okay, I want you to use all your 2s, then your 3s, then your 5s, then your 7. That way your tree opens up like this. Every number inside of here must be prime, not composite. If you can break it down more, it's not prime. All right, let's go on. Next, simplify. Simplify means to reduce. So copy down what you see here. Well, to simplify this, what we're going to do is reduce. So you always try to divide by 2, but it's got to be top and bottom. If 2 doesn't work, you try 3. If 3 doesn't work, you try 5. Okay, your prime numbers. 2 does work. So I divide by 2 and I get 3 over 15. And then 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 15 5. So the answer is 1/5. 1 divided by 5 as a decimal, just so you know, is 0.2. Okay? You can leave it as this as long as you reduce it. 2 doesn't go into the top number, it does the bottom, but it's got to be both. 3 doesn't go into the bottom number. I don't think 5 works either. This one might already be reduced. You'll have to check it in the back of the book. Let's go on. I want you to try A right now. We're multiplying. Try this one right here. All right, remember, when you multiply, you go straight across. So that's going to be 8 over 21. And then you try to reduce by 2s, 3s, and 5s. I don't think you can. Try the next one. This one is times. Put a 1 underneath that 7. Times 5 over 6. So I'm going to get 35 over 6. And we'll leave it like that as long as it's reduced. All right, C. This is another times. Try this one. If it's times, you go straight across. Now look, if it's multiplying, you can reduce any top number with any bottom number. Write that down. If you multiply, then you can reduce. Top number with a bottom number. That's the only time. If it's division, you can't do this. So 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 10 2. 1 times 7 is 7. 9 times 2 is 18. You're done. Now, if you don't reduce, you're going to get 35 over 90, 9 times 10, and then you got to reduce by 5, and then you'll get it. I would rather you reduce beforehand. Try the next one. The next one's division, okay? You cannot reduce when it's division, but you can flip it. So you can say 5 over 9 times 3 over 2. Flip, change, keep is the way I think some teachers teach this. So that gives me 15 over 18. And we're done. And actually, no. Divide by 3. So 3 goes into 15, 5 over 6. 18 divided by 3. Make sure you reduce. Let's try another one. Try E. E is division. Now look, I know with E, you want to reduce the 5 and the 10, but you can't because it's division. If you do, it's wrong. So flip it first. Once you flip it, then you try to reduce. Well, you can't reduce. There's no top numbers and bottom numbers, so you're going to get 50 over 27. If you cannot reduce before you multiply, you will not be able to reduce after you multiply. It's just a rule. Try this one. Subtract 5 from 7 over 8. Well, here's 7 over 8, and you're going to subtract 5. So try that. Put a 1 under here. Your least common denominator is 8. So you want to multiply this one by 8. So you're going to get 7 over 8 minus 40 over 8. So that's going to give me 33, a negative, over 8. Now you might be saying, well, how did you do that? Well, you can use your calculator. Okay, so here's my calculator. So clear it out, press 40, put a negative. See how it's a minus 40? And then plus 7. There's a plus right here. So plus 7. Try to figure this out in your head. Okay, it's not that hard. All right, last one, and then I'll get you started on your work. Try this one. You're adding, change it. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1. So 7 over 2 plus 12, 13, 14 over 3. Your least common denominator, multiply those two. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6, so you want to multiply by 3. This one, 3 times 2 is 6, so you're going to get 21 over 3 plus 28 over 3. Since your denominator is the same, you add these up. It looks like 49 over 3. I think 49 is a prime number, so we'll leave it as reduced. I don't think you can reduce that. All right, today's work is right here. Workbook, page 27. Copy the problems and show work. Only page 27. Okay, so grab that big book out underneath. Remember, for you guys, the book is located in Canvas. Now, I know I've said this a bunch of times, okay? And then go to Files, and then print it and download it. I'm going to start Monday and pick some work up. All right, that's enough for MCR. Let's go to geometry. All right, geometry, I wanted you to work number 15 again. And this is on page 5. And before we get started, let me just say that if you have some homeroom stuff, okay, 4th period, you're going to email it to this lady, with the exception of that yellow one that I gave 4th period. That comes back to me. You have till September 1st, so you don't get a detention, okay? If you need the forms, it's right here. It's going to be on this video, so just go back tonight and play it and copy, okay? Go to YouTube and then go to Toops's Classroom. And then you'll find the videos. Okay, today's 8/27. All right, this one right here, let's work it. Now, actually, I'm missing some stuff here. All right, I'm missing some lines and stuff. So actually, we can't do that one. So try this. And actually, you can't do the distance formula. So let's go ahead and work this. AC is 16. And you might say, well, where the heck is C at? It's right here. All right, so we're going to do this and this. So we're going to add these two up. So we're going to say x plus 7 plus 2x is equal to AC, which is 16. 2x plus 1x gives me 3x. And then I'm going to subtract 7 and get 9. And then I'm going to divide by 3 and get 3. So I get x equals 3. Now I substitute here. If they want AB, I put 3 plus 7 is 10. 2 times 3 is 6, and I'm done. All right, today you're going to be doing distance and midpoint. So look up here and listen. All right. This is on the EOC. So first, I want you to graph these 2 points. So copy this down on a new sheet of paper. Now, if you don't know how to graph, this is your x, this is your y. So x always goes sideways. Y always goes up and down. So this is 0, it's a negative 2. So go left, 1, 2. And then a negative, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot. This one is a positive, so go over 1, 2, 3, and then go up 8. 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then draw a line. We don't need to use graph paper. Just draw that up. Okay, we're trying to find the distance from here to here. There's a formula called the distance formula, and you're going to have to learn it. You might as well learn it now. So it's going to be x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. Copy that down. Now, it doesn't matter which one you call point 2. A lot of kids call this one point 2, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so watch. What I want you to do for distance is I want you to put this down just like this. Now your x's go in here and your y's go in here. If you go backwards, like I'm going to do, all right, then you got to go backwards for this one. So this is going to be 3 minus a negative 2. This one's going to be 8 minus a negative 4. This becomes a plus. So I get the square root of 5 squared. If you're at home, make sure you're doing this, okay? And then 8 plus that 4 is going to give me 12. So I get 25 plus 144. Get your calculator out. And I think that's the square root of 169. And the square root of 169 is 13. Let me show you that. Here's your calculator. Press 169, hit shift, and the square root key is way down here. So press that one, and you get 13. 13 times 13 is 169. I want you to try one. Try this one. Find the distance. So -4, -5, 2, and -8. You don't need to graph this one. Okay? Some of you may not know how to graph, but you need to learn that too. Also, if you're working at home, you need to change your picture, your profile picture, to either you or leave it off. I emailed parents today. If you're not following directions and I block you, your parents are going to have to contact me. Your mics have to be off at all times. If you have a question, you type it in. And there's no chatting with other students. If you violate my rules and I block you, then I'm going to talk to your parents and they need to contact me. So check out that email. All right, let's look here. Your x's go here. So it's xy and then xy. So x's go like this. So it's 2 minus a -4 and then -8 minus a -5. Should be a double negative here. So that's 6 squared. This one is going to be a plus, so that's going to be, you got more negatives, so it's going to be a -3 squared. When you square a negative times a negative is a positive. 6 times 6 is 36. I get the square root of 45. Square root of 45 is not perfect. It's irrational. We're going to leave it alone. Any questions on that? All right, let's finish this up. Midpoint. Midpoint, you add up the x's and divide by 2. It's halfway. You add up the y's and divide by 2. Doesn't matter which one, okay? So copy this down. Put 2, 4, and 5 and -6. So you're going to add up your x's. So put 2 plus 5 divided by 2. And then you're going to add up your y's. 4 plus a -6 divided by 2. So this is going to be 7 over 2. And this is going to be a -2 over 2. So you're going to get 7 over 2 and a -1, and you're done. And that's called the midpoint. Okay, if you need help, I'll help you in class. Today, we are working on 1.3. Okay, 1.3. And it says I have a worksheet, so you'll get a worksheet. Have a good day.